Welcome to MirrorFly, a unified communications product for real-time chat, audio, and video calls SDK. I shall be walking you through the integration steps. In this video, we shall deep dive to see how to make a call and receive a call using MirrorFly Calls SDK in 20 minutes for the React platform. This video will help you with the Easy Call SDK integration steps. You may also use our sample application available in GitHub. If you need to explore more about the real-time chat and call features before you integrate it, then download our sample app. This would be the fastest way to build your application UI with MirrorFly Call SDK. You should also be aware of some of the supported browsers before you start working on the call integrations. Before moving into the integration part, you need to know about the SDK license key to initiate calls. You can get a valid license key from the MirrorFly user console or dashboard. You would need to be a registered user to access the console. Since I am already a registered user, I am logging into my user account to access the MirrorFly user console. In the overview page, you could access your unique SDK license key and API base URL to add them into your project to initiate the call. You can also get access to the sample project source code, SDK files, and API credentials in the same overview page to test your integrations. Before moving into the integrations, first, create a new React project. I have already created the React project. Now integrate the call SDK in my application. I'm integrating SDK using npm package. Copy the MirrorFly SDK using npm package. Install the SDK in my application terminal. The installation process might take some time to complete. MirrorFly SDK, with its robust features and functionalities, makes the integration more efficient and easy for every client's app. Now our MirrorFly SDK is installed successfully. Next step, import the SDK into your application where you want. I have imported the SDK into my main.js file. Calls SDK can also be integrated by downloading our SDK files as an alternative method for npm package. So you may skip this part if you have already installed the SDK using npm. However, I still walk you through the steps for your understanding to integrate calls using SDK files. In the first step, download the zip file from the JavaScript SDK. In step 2, extract the files from the downloaded zip file. Copy the index.js file into your application. In step 3, once the file has been copied, include the script file into your index.html and give the correct folder path. In the step 4, create a new file sdk.js in the project root and paste the below code as shown in the documents. In step 5, import the SDK into your application. If you choose to install SDK files, then follow the 5 steps to integrate our Calls SDK. Let's see how to initialize Calls SDK. To begin with the initialization process of the Call SDK, you are required to have certain data that responds to the changes in the connection status in the client's app. Callback listeners triggered to receive the call-related events. Paste the code in app.js file. Copy the initialize function. In callback, you need to call the connection listener. Callback listeners are functions that will be called whenever the specified event happens. Console connection status in connection listener function, triggered whenever connection status changes. Copy the license key details, can get it from the overview section in the MirrorFly console dashboard. Paste it in initialize function. When you are in the trial mode, by default the sandbox servers will be used. After purchase, it will be upgraded to dedicated server. I already created the onClick handler, enables you to call a function, so I paste initialize SDK method here and trigger an action when a user clicks a button. Console to SDK initialize response. While using the await inside the function should contain a sync in it. Now run the app in browser. Click the Initialize SDK button. Once Initialize SDK is successful, the log response shows the response message as success and with the status code 200. Let's see how to register the user. You can use the below given method to register a new user. I already created the onClick handler, enables you to call the functions, so I paste the register method here and trigger an action when a user clicks a button. Give the user identifier as a unique ID to register the user. We accept only the alphanumeric string, so don't use any special characters in the user identifier. Console the log for register response. Is force register as an optional param for maintaining sessions and metadata as an optional param to provide metadata of the user. Once successfully registered a user, you can connect with the MirrorFly server using the following connect method. Paste it in the register on click function. Once you are registered, you will be provided with a username and password in the register response that you can utilize to make the connection with the server via connect method. Console the log for connect response. Now run the app in browser. Now initialize SDK and click the register button to login. Make sure that you have called the registration method only once in an application. Getting the response for the register, you can get username and password, use this credentials to connect with the MirrorFly server, showing in the response login as successful. Once login is success, the connection listener will trigger SDK. The connection to the server will be successful or else it will get a failure response. Let's see how to make a call. If one-to-one call feature is unavailable for your plan, then it will throw 403 exception. Initiate a call by providing the Cali's user JID into the make voice call method. I already created the onClick handler event property to call the function, so I paste the make voice call method and triggers to execute the function when user clicks a button. Console the log for voice call. It shows the response once call initiated successfully, otherwise it throws error. User JID param represents which user wants to make call. Let's see how to generate JID for any user. You can pass the user ID as another user registered username. Now you can pass the to JID value in make voice call. I created already simple call UI. You can set the UI for your wish to implement the design for outgoing and incoming calls. Once the call is initiated successfully, a call status listener callback will be triggered and Cali user call status will be received. Call status triggered whenever user call status changes. It shows possible user status like ringing, connecting, connected, reconnecting, engaged, busy, disconnected, ended, or on hold. At the same time, shows session status whether the call is closed or not. If the value is closed means no user is in the call and call is disconnected completely. Otherwise, call is in progress. Whenever you make the call to a user, you will receive your own track, using user track listener to play the track. If you need an audio call alone, you implement the audio tag and return method. When you need video call as well, you can implement the video tag also. For the audio or video call, you should not play your own audio track. Copy the track script code and paste in user track listener. Console the log for user track listener. To differentiate the user, you can use the local user and user JID parameter. You will receive both audio and video track in the same callback method. The audio and video element is based on the track type that you have received in the user track listener callback. You need to supply the track object, which was received in the callback method. You need to have multiple audio and video tag elements to play all users' audio and video. It receives the local and remote users for audio and video tracks. We have local user property to differentiate the remote and local users. Set local user set as true and remote user set as false. Let's see how to receive the incoming call. To receive an incoming call listener callback triggered. Whenever user make a call, the Cali user will receive the calling data in this callback. Console the log for incoming call listener. It shows the response once incoming call initiated successfully or not. Let's see how to answer a call once incoming call received. I already created the onClick handler event property to call the function, so I paste the answer call method in onClick attribute. It will execute when the button is clicked. While using the await inside the function should contain a sync. Whenever you answer the call, you will receive your own track and the caller's track in the same user track listener callback method itself. To end the call, use the following method. I already created the onClick handler event property to call the function, so I paste the end call method and it will execute when the button is clicked. Console the log for end call method. Now run the app in the browser. Let's see the demo for making a voice call. First, initialize the SDK and register the user and log in with MirrorFly server. I make a call for receiver side. Wow, successfully received the call for receiver. Once receiver answer the call, connection is established between the users. You see the response log triggers the user track listener to play the own audio track once call is connected in sender and receiver side. Call status listener will triggers once the sender tries to make a call, status should be calling. Once the sender try to make a call and the receiver is in online status, shows ringing. Once receiver answers the call, the status shows connected. Once the sender try to make a call and the receiver is offline, the status shows trying to connect. All the time call status listener triggers once the user status changes. Now end the call, the response shows success, otherwise it executes failure. Let's see the demo for receiving incoming call. Once the receiver make a call to the sender side, incoming call back listener will trigger. Then the sender answer the call status triggers. Also triggers the user track listener to play the own audio track. Once the incoming call is initiated successfully, connection will connect both the users. Great. Hope this video is helpful for you in your MirrorFly Calls SDK integrations. MirrorFly is the best platform to build in-app calls in your application. Check out our documentation page for more such tutorials that would ease your integration setup. We have a dedicated customer success team to assist you with your questions and help you pass through the blockers with ease. Thank you, and have a good day.